The museum is an institution that is really at the service of society, to help to transmit knowledge, to help to, transmit heritage as well and preserve culture.
You learn by seeing and engaging in a museum, by thinking. So we learn, and that's why they are important. The center of this museum are not the objects that we have here. This is important, but for us, this is not the most important. We are a university museum, and as such, research and documentation will be an important component, an important impact. We are an art museum, but in a way we are more than an art museum, because we want to use art to go beyond art.
We are an educational institution that prioritizes education through art. We don't want people to just come in and admire the artworks and leave. We want them to come in here, look at the artworks, and then the artworks inspire them to, think and, start exploring different issues. African art, right, is a representation of the African people, our culture, our history, and a very big part of preserving art, I think, is education. There's the curatorial aspect of it, and then there's the administrative aspect of it. Now, the curatorial aspect of it has more to do with the collection itself, taking care of the works, making sure that they are, properly preserved and properly displayed and things like that. Then there's the administrative part of it, which is more like the day-to-day running and management of the space.
Great museums are not made simply by an accumulation of great artworks. You have great artworks, then you can do something, but it's not that. Great people and committed people, we don't need extraordinary people, but committed people, passionate people, and people who are clear about their mission. Once we have a clear mission, we have committed people, and we have a governance structure, the rest comes into place. You notice that when I didn't say to build a great museum you need plenty of money. It's true, you need plenty of money, but that's not, in my opinion, that's not the most important thing. We need also help in making people aware of what a museum can do for them. So it's not about what we want for us, it's helping us do more for the people we want to serve. The center of this museum are not the objects that we have here, and we have an excellent collection that came from Yemisi Shyllon mainly. We are a university museum, and as such, research and documentation will be an important component, an important impact. Unlike in other museums, for us, programming is more important than curating. For us, the most important person in this museum is not the curator, but is the educator. We are here to help people learn about things that go beyond art, but through art. We are very lucky at the museum to have this and other pieces from Benin. This is one of, I think, exceptional technical quality. We have some Benin bronzes, but they have not been dated. These are not Benin bronzes that were taken and have been brought back. No, they were here. Now, we do not even know for sure whether they are 16th century or 17th century or 18th century. Unfortunately, there are no resources, there are no labs capable of doing this here in the country. Okay, if we have the resources, we do it. If we don't have it, we will have to wait. So we have to be flexible and adapting to our circumstances. Learning and showcasing and displaying African art is important. But this is important because art is important, mainly because we hope it will have an impact on people.
We digitize our collection to make it accessible to people online, people in Nigeria, people across the globe. And we want to be able to host more works, we want to be able to host more exhibitions, do more programs, reach out more into society. We want to be able to partner with schools, especially because we're an educational museum again. So it's very important that we have a kind of partnership with schools in Nigeria to become part of the curriculum, so that people can appreciate, Nigerian art.
All the issue of repatriation is very much there, and rightly so, because it's important. For Nigeria, it's important to have these works back. In a way, this is a problem, and there is a problem here, that has been framed in the West and that has come to us. Now we have to start telling our own stories. What do we do with them? How can they serve that educational purpose? How can people learn about them? So I think our view from the continent is different. Just a group of few children having a good time learning, going back home and telling their parents what they learn about Benin or about Ife or Yoruba culture. These are the truly important moments of the museum. And luckily, it's not just once, but this is something that is repeated. So it's great. Our ambition goes beyond Lagos and beyond Nigeria. We want to offer something that can serve in a way that can be like a model for university museums in Africa. We would like to pioneer, to open new ground here, because this is important for the continent. It's a pity that people still have to go to US, to UK, to other places to see our works that were created here by artists here. We want these artworks to be here and to create narratives around them that are relevant for the people here.
art. A cubic-shaped architectural edifice adorns the sprawling lawn of this institution of learning. In this building are art collections dating from pre-colonial times, post-colonial, and contemporary arts. Domiciled on its landscape are arts of rich interpretations across several art mediums. Quite expected, this museum, which opened in 2020 with over 1,000 artworks, a bulk of its collections donated by the art connoisseur Prince Yemisi Shyllon, is today a hotspot for tourists, art aficionados, and students. Let's walk in to see the treasures encased in the belly of this art vault, guided by the museum's educator, Mr. Charles Ude. Hi, good to see you, Charles.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
It's been, should I say, phenomenal, you know. I have been watching Google Africa since I was young.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm like, I can still remember the Google Africa.
Well, it sounds like you're all grown up now.
Yeah. Boys to men, I would say.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so once more, welcome to Yemisi Shyllon Museum of Art. Ours is the first of its kind here in Nigerian soil, the first privately owned museum. There is another, but it is the first. And it is the first university museum in Nigeria that is practically active with the educational relationship between the museum and the institution that is, of course, the mother institution. So that's the whole idea of our institution here. We want to see how we keep works for posterity, but beyond just for posterity, but also as a box for curiosity that the museum is, so that the students will have a chance to experience what perhaps they've been taught in the class here. So we run an object-based program, object-based learning program, which helps the lecturers and the students as well. So for example, you're teaching your students on civil ethics or civil engineering ethics. They come over here, they look at works that talk about civic ethics, you know, norms about perhaps justice, how to manage conflicting ideas. For example, there's a work in the space from Gerald Chukwuma that talks about world without war. So these are whatever please. Yeah, quite a few people actually understand or know that he actually works with explorative works like this. And these are titled the Archangels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Archangels.
Archangels, yeah, it's true. So to a lot of people look at it and will really ask, how is it the Archangel? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's made from car parts.
I can see that.
And a major part of the car part is your dashboard. Your dashboard, yeah, and then your dashboard is practically what guides you as you journey.
That's correct.
It tells you the fuel gauge, it tells you the speed you're running at, it tells you where your navigator is pointing to. So good, without your dashboard,
When your engine is overheating,
it tells you that. So without it, it's like you're on a blind journey. It guides you as you move. Yes, so the title of the work is actually Water na Water.
water na water.
Yes, and it's made from pure water sachet. And of course, we all know that in Nigeria we're still struggling with being able to give people good drinking water. And even when we resort to the table water and of course the pure waters, I will still argue not all pure water companies really treat their supposed pure water pure. So sachet water is not really the supposed pure water. And of course, the end is the Nigerian just want to quench his thirst. So whatever you take, water. So that's, the work also talks about, of course, the environmental sustainability, the waste of how much that water we take in a day. But I would also like us to look at the pre-colonial section of our museum in here. Yeah, because I think it will give us a strong understanding of where we're going. So this here is our multipurpose gallery. Why the seats are this way is we just had the community outreach program. So this frame and this frame is dedicated to Yoruba art and culture. The Yorubas are perhaps 1 out of 2 or 3 of West African society where women masquerade. And this is an example of that. These are gelede, masquerade headdress. Yes, the gelede society is for motherhood and womanhood in the society, in the Yoruba society. They also serve as check to the men because it gives the women power to act in the society, yes. Here we have the agerifa, which is the bowl that holds the divination items. Over here we have the oponifa. This is one style, this is another style, that's another style. There is no particular style. I think every artist is free to design. But the tray, the oponifa is like a tray for the divination, where you drop your divination items. I think in the Igbo section, that's what you have as Igbafa. And usually they use a goat skin, to drop their divination item. And of course, we are looking at history itself, 800 years ago. This is taking us back to time. That's the Obalofon mask, and that is an Ife royal head. These are made by the great Ife civilization, about 13th century AD. And these are made from brass and copper. The fascinating thing about this is, as at the time these were made, the striking naturalism was something that Europe has not been able to achieve. They were still struggling to go back to classical antiquity, as at the time the Yoruba perfected this.
Wow.
In copper and brass. And another good fascinating fact is that we don't have copper mines in Nigeria. We don't have copper mines in Togo. We don't have copper mines in Benin. The closest copper mine to us is in Mali. And these are made of copper, which of course shows that there have been a historical transaction between the people of the forest region of West Africa and the people of the Sahara and even beyond the Sahara of Africa. This frame covers the Benin artworks. Yeah, this is the head of an Oba of Benin from an earlier period, pretty much 14th century AD, because we know this based on the style of the works. Should it have an elaborate kufio, that's the headdress is elaborate, you know that it's from a later period. That's like 16th century, 17th century. That's when they had so much wealth, so much influence. But this is from the earliest periods of the reign of the Obas. Over here we have the Benin trophy head. We have the elephant tusk items. This is a salt cellar. And this is a royal gong. Now, in the Benin Empire, should a warrior or a hunter kill an elephant, a tusk goes to the king, and another tusk goes to the hunter. So from that tusk, the Oba is free to fashion whatever he wants to fashion out of it. And of course, in 1897, when the British conquered the Benin city, they looted almost every single piece of that history. It's pretty much different artworks from different areas of Nigeria. We have the Benin trophy heads there. We also have the Benin Oba head from a later period because of the elaborate head. Over there we have, beneath the two heads, we have the Ibeji figure from Yoruba.
That one?
No.
Okay, Ibeji too.
The two twin figures. So usually once a twin die, one of the twin dies, believe a malevolent spirit is affecting the child. So there is a need to have this cap so that the clothes and feed the second one as if the other was still alive. Yeah, these are over 1,300 years old. 800 to 900 AD, the Iboku bronzes.
Ooh.
Yes. The skill is just, you look at it as a craftsman and you know that it took a lot for someone working in the forest region of Anambra 1,300 years ago to sit down and create this. He is a mastermind. He is a mastermind, and that's what we are seeing here. So the Iboku bronzes were way ahead of their time. Here we have a very strong emotional piece by Erabo Emope for the 1977 Festac. So it's titled Iyabiku. What I love about this work is the visual, shall I say, metaphors that is there. So Abikum literally means, of course, the child who, when better, dies over and over again repeatedly, and of course brings a lot of pain to the mother. And that's the emotional feeling we see in the mother, that pain. Then he so wittingly gave a shot of that absence of that child in the womb of the mother. Over there we have Yusuf Grillo, I know Nablu. I know Nablu. Yusuf Grillo, yes.
Stained glass expert.
Yeah, the lover of blue also. Every single painting of his you will get to find.
When was
blue
this
there.
done?
This was in 1993. Over there is Africa Woman by Ben Osawe.
The African woman.
Yeah, this is Omoligo Denta at Eden's Gate.
Eden's.
This is Lamidi Fake.
Who is this?
Lamidi Fake. Yes, he was a living legend. In fact, he was a UNESCO living legend when he was alive. He did all this. He was a master carver of the Yoruba traditional carving style.
This Museum of Art is the first privately funded museum of arts in Nigeria. Of immense importance to its existence is the eponymous arts collector, Prince Yemisi Shyllon, who not only financed its construction, but also donated over 1,000 traditional and modern artworks to the museum.
The Yemisi Shyllon Museum is leading the way. Look, the Yemisi Shyllon Museum under the International Council for Museum, they have organized even training program for museum staff. They have organized training for children. And I'm saying training, not visits. Right. The children sit down and draw and sketch what they are looking at.
I witnessed it yesterday.
Good. Yeah. They sit down and watch and sketch. And of course, public schools. The emphasis is more on public schools. The emphasis doesn't mean it doesn't include private schools, but the emphasis is more on public schools. Where, let me be honest with you, great nations are made from the contributions of the poor. It is the poor that go through the arduousness of survival, and they learn in the process. Their thinking ability is different from that of a spoiled child. So, when you train the poor, the children of the poor, you are preparing for a greater future for your nation. I went to University of Ibadan, and I donated their biggest monument in 2009 when they were celebrating the 60 years anniversary of University of Ibadan, where I did my first degree. And then, of course, I have Ministry of Culture at the federal and the state levels that come here to be lectured about the art of our culture and its impact on tourism. So I am creating a kind of new knowledge. And finally, the Yemisi Shyllon Museum of Art, which I'm the grand donor, is playing a significant role in changing the narrative.
Your name?
Okay, my name is Madonna Iloba, and I work here at the Yemisi Shyllon Museum of Art as an advancement officer. Students usually, when they leave here, their usually very excited and they always want to come back. Now when they come in, typically they don't really know exactly what to expect. They're like, oh, we're going to an art museum. Some of them have been to art museums before, some of them have not. Many of them have not really. So we have them come into this space. They're a bit like, okay, what is this place going to, show me? What am I going to see in here? And they come in, they start seeing the artworks and the beautiful sculptures we have outside. And then they come in and then they see, many colorful paintings and different types of works made from different kinds of materials. And they're like intrigued, they're like, wowed, at the different things that they encounter when they come here.
So I love art. So coming here felt like I was coming home. I felt at home with all the art and like all the things around. And like each work has like a meaning behind it. So sometimes just looking at it, trying to like understand or trying to like make your own meaning out of it, it's just like a really comforting experience. And like the varieties and like the people that also paint it, just like looking at them and being able to recognize, oh, who is this? Oh, I know the person that did that. It's just a very welcoming experience. And the fact that it's open for everyone to come to is just one of the best parts about the museum.
For me, I've always admired artworks. I've always been a very artistic person since I was younger. I also did visual arts in secondary school, and coming here, it was just like, okay, I was coming to see the many artworks I had learned about, the different artists I had heard about. Walking through this place, I've seen acts from Lamidi, Fakeye, I've seen artworks from different artists that I'd read about or studied about from my WAEC examinations. I've always been someone who loves to draw, paint, and one of my dreams right now is to create an art piece that will be hung in this museum so that other people can come and see and enjoy what art is about, what art should look like, what art can do to your body, soul, and mind.